South African survivor specialist Alexa and Robert are back on a very, very exciting day. It is the third day of spring. It is warm and sunny, and Survivor is in production for season 41. How are we feeling about
Finally,
that?
finally. Oh my God. I have been waiting for this day for literally a year. Also, spring is nice because, screw
You
winter,
know,
but
mental health is through the roof.
mental health's great.
Jeff's hair is through the roof.
That was insane. Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, I don't know if your hair is longer or Jeff's hair, but you
I
got
don't
to get
know.
the hat
Hopefully,
with the palm tree.
I do need the hat, and then I'll get my blue polo and cosplay Jeff for a little bit.
And yeah, get the dad sneakers and then the cargo pants, cargo shorts,
Yeah,
and then you're good to go.
and it'll be perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, and just yell at people along the way. But this is really exciting. Survivor season 41 is actually happening. I don't really care how they did it. I don't care how they're doing it. I'm just glad that it's existing. We will have gone, I guess, like a year and a half, maybe a little bit less, without a real Survivor season. And somehow we have found a way to fill the airwaves with content. And this season of South African Survivor has been really good. I originally started like looking into the international survivors just because it was something new to do, and I am actually really, really enjoying these.
Yeah, no, like I guess when you have a new Survivor season every 6 months or so, like you're just used to it. It's routine. But now I'm like, I need Survivor. I need to go anywhere else. And it's just Australian Survivor and South African Survivor have been here the entire time.
Like, they've been here the entire time, and they have been really good. And we're talking about what I have to assume was a really, as the kids say, iconic episode. This episode has American Survivor ramifications. If this episode doesn't air on South African Survivor, Adam Klein does not go home looking like a crazy person. Not necessarily a crazy person, but like, making what looked like a dumb move. This was the episode with an idol at Tribal Council.
It was so exciting. Like we were teased on it last episode where Palesa knew where the idol was. And I kind of wish that it had been a little bit more flashy, but like just seeing her walk up anyways was still just fantastic.
Yeah, it really reminds me of like old school Survivor, because like you think of a lot of really big moments in old school Survivor, and especially with this one too. And like the music wasn't crazy, and to me it was odd that the reactions weren't crazy. Maybe they've seen, and you and I have only watched one season of Australian Survivor and 5 episodes of another season of South African Survivor. Maybe these kind of twists are more common, but I was shocked that nobody was like surprised or playing it up for the cameras. I think American Survivor contestants really like to eat it up for the cameras.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something I got to get used to a little bit more. I mean, regardless, it was still like a fantastic move. Like I guess move is like a weird way to put it, but like it was really cool to watch. I do realize it now. Like, yeah, it was good. Like old school Survivor vibes, where it's like it's exciting because of what's happening, not necessarily because of the reactions. So it's good to see it.
Yeah, I want someone to like convert it to an American Survivor version, and you have like Eliza's like dead open mouth on the jury, like
yeah, because sort of fishback or something. That would be so funny.
Yeah, like someone would be like, "Holy shit! Like I can't believe you did that." But she's just like, maybe it's because she and Tom hate each other so much. She just plucks that thing and like sits back down, and she's like, "What of it?" And Tom, for what it's worth, he was like, holy shit, like that was really cool.
Me.
Like good on you.
That was sick. Yeah, nice.
And again, this episode also had some tribal council whispering too. And we'll talk about this tribal council because there's a lot of movement with very few people, and it's really impressive how this gets pulled off. But I Palesa is like probably one of my favorite characters this season. I think she is
loving Palesa.
She really fights for herself. She's obviously like had a lot of really good things drop into her lap. Sorry, there's a motorcycle right by me. But she's been super entertaining. And this tribe, this Visayas tribe, we'll get to them. I just think it's really interesting that the person who is the swing vote like outswings themselves and gets voted out. Mariska really kind of
honestly, I was watching the tribal council and I was like, why are neither of Palesa or Vusi getting votes? Like this is I just in my mind I thought it was going to be like the split vote with Mariska going either way, but she outplayed herself.
She really did. And when she said this to Nico a few times, but she was like, what did she say? Like, I'm kind of playing the game, or like I'm playing a little bit. She said something really odd. And even he was like, what do you mean? Like, do you not want to be here?
Yeah, and then he like walked it back a little bit and was like, he was like, "Are you actually playing?" Like, and then she was like, "Yeah, I'm playing."
Yeah, she's like, I'm kidding. And it's like, this isn't the place to be kidding because you're actually very much in trouble.
Yeah.
So like, we'll talk about them a little bit, but let's talk about the other two tribes as well. So Luzon first, they lose Ace. And we were having a really good time 2 weeks ago talking about the hole that they dug to China. And clearly the producers liked this too, because they're on Luzon for like a hot second before they cut to the first commercial. And Josie's like, like they still didn't realize that Ace and I were hunting for an idol, and they hard cut to her. And that ditch is so gigantic. I don't know how they could have convinced anybody that they were doing anything other than hunting for an idol.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like if you're digging a ditch, like that's usually if you're digging an idol, you dig just down instead of like in an area. So like I don't know, but like if it didn't, they got fooled by it. I guess good for Josie.
They really did, and she's still alone, and she says that she's like still digging around for this idol, and God bless her, she can look for that thing all day and no one will know what she's doing. But there's obviously like there's a chance for her to be saved. And that's what I think is really cool about this tribe dynamic. She thinks she's screwed, but in actuality, she just needs to talk to, I think it's Werner and Tony are the other two, because they can't stand Jean. But right. Josie thinks that the three of them are super tight. And also Jean thinks that. So it's this really cool situation of, if these people actually talk to each other, then Josie is fine. But right now she looks like a sitting duck.
Right. Yeah. And it is very strange that like the group, like there are so many people or the group is just kind of there because people think it is, right? But it's not actually, which is insane. Like, yeah. like what you said, like both Jean and Josie think like, yeah, those three are tight, even though they're not.
Yeah. And Jean goes to, Jean is, I'm enjoying her. She's very confidently unaware of what's going on. She speaks a lot of confidence, but she's very wrong on a lot of things. And she goes to Werner, which if she was right, this is the right thing to do. She's like, everyone succeeds with a group of two. That's one thing that I've always said, like, you need your best friend. She goes to him because his name comes up a lot and because he's always getting heat at tribal council. But in actuality, I feel like he was never actually in trouble. He's always been a part of the majority alliance.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like people talk about him, but he isn't like he's not getting votes, I don't think, right? Is he?
I mean, I think he got a little bit of heat the episode before they swapped. I think it was he and Martinez who were kind of going at it. And right. Like he was playing the part and Martinez like believed him. And then like Martinez got mad, but that was Martinez completely misinterpreting the purpose of how tribal council works.
Right. I mean, I also think that like something Jean said was like, oh, if I'm with Werner, like that could get some votes onto me and draw some heat my way. And I'm like, what? Like, didn't you just say that like you want him as like a shield so that he'll take the votes and not you? Like it felt like she was correct and then just like switched her opinion to be like, ooh, but like now I'm a little scared of having a power couple. And I'm like,
yeah,
no, this is a good thing. Also, you should do this.
Yeah, for what it's worth, like if he actually is someone who's often in trouble, pairing with the person who's always in trouble, that doesn't seem like the best kind of sound judgment. Am I still echoing? Sorry, I just saw
you're good. I mean, okay. It's better than like not being in a duo, right? I mean, I'm sure that if you're gonna quickly lose your pair and then be alone, at least you have like a couple tribals where you have another vote with you. So I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. He's like not really having it. I don't even think we hear from him. If we do, all he says is Tony's my girl. And Tony sure is, because they're gonna do great things together.
Our winner picks.
Or what our winner picks, who are
yeah.
I don't really know who's winning right now, and I very much enjoy that. I feel like the editing has done.
Yeah, we talked about this last time, but like there isn't really anyone that like is flawless right now. Like everyone is shown to like mess up somewhere, if not a lot of places.
Yeah. And the people who are getting a lot of screen time, like I think of Tom. I think of Tevin, who we'll get to in a sec. Palisa is probably the only one. She's getting like a big underdog. Maybe not huge underdog, but like you root for her because she's getting a lot of things handed to her, but also things don't go her way. She would be the only person that I would like immediately say is a winner pick, but I just really think they're way different on American Survivor. And I think they're way more obvious on American Survivor. I never would have guessed the winner of Australian Survivor season 2. I was shocked that person won.
Right. Well, I feel like in American Survivor, it's not like a conscious knowledge. It's like, oh, who do you think is going to win? And you're like, I don't know, Nick Wilson. And then it's like, oh yeah, that was it. That's who I was going to guess. Like at least that's how it works in my mind. And Palesa now feels too much like that conscious, like, oh, this is the person who they want me to watch. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, they want us to pay attention to her because she's had a lot of really interesting situations happen to her.
Right.
So let's go over to the Mindanao tribe. And Tevin is finally sort of being called out, but he's being called out by Martinez, who at this point, like nobody really likes. And I feel like he finally climbed back up and now he's back down. I feel like I don't necessarily think he'll be going home soon, but I just don't think he's ever going to quite get his footing.
Well, I mean, I thought it was really good of Martinez to be like, hey, we got to watch out for Tevin because Tevin's been playing pretty hard. Like, I don't think his antics have been revealed to the tribe yet, but like, it's a good idea. Like Tevin was doing some stuff.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think, and I wrote this down in all caps, I think PK is the wrong person to talk to about anything.
I agree. Yeah.
I just think like this happened. And like, I feel like what PK does is he takes information and he immediately tells people. So I guess his number one is Tevin, and it was this exact same thing that happened on the original Mindanao tribe with the All Girls Alliance, and I know it was Katinka who kind of blew that up, but PK is just a direct line of fire to Tevin, and I guess people haven't quite realized that yet because that's screwed over John a little bit, and it is about to screw over Martinez.
Well, if they didn't realize it immediately, Martinez is going to realize it when PK and Tevin confront him and say, don't do this, listen to us, because we're in power. And I thought that was so bad.
That was,
really
how did you
funny.
That whole situation, especially like Tevin threatened him with a challenge throw, which is wild. He was like, I will throw a challenge and get you out.
Yeah, it's like, you know what Martinez does? He just talks to anyone else and is like, hey, Tevin wants to throw this challenge. Let's get him out. And then suddenly Tevin and PK are in the minority. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, and there's 5 people on this tribe. Like, there's not a lot of wiggle room there. I
guess if it was back to 2 tribes, yeah, like, you know, you have 8 people, like, you can mess around a little bit, you know, like less risk of going home. But if it's like 1 in 5, like, what are you doing?
Right. And for what it's worth, like it's 2 of them threatening this one guy who isn't super popular. But for what it's worth, one of the people that he has to swing is Katinka, and that doesn't seem too hard. Like, I think Katinka's like not really trying to play. And I think if Tevin and PK come in too hot with her, then...
Well, it probably wouldn't be too hard until we saw Katinka go fishing or clamming or whatever. Get some clams. And
she
was like,
snorkeled for clams.
I got some... She did. She got some clams. And then Martinez was like, your life doesn't matter or something.
Yeah.
Which was
what
just
did he say?
So awful. It was something like, oh, it was so dangerous. And Martinez was like, I can't go out because if I like die, then I have a family and a business I need to support. And you, Katinka, do not. So it's like, what are you doing?
Actually, she's an influencer, Martinez. So really watch your tongue there.
You should watch out.
Oh my God. Yeah. And this poor girl, like, she's gotten no edit. Like, I feel like she's very confused as to why she's there. She has the big, like, I did this. Like, she dove quite deep. She got a nice,
someone got clam. You food. Yeah.
That looked really badass. And this guy just like trashes her the second she comes back.
Your life doesn't matter.
Like, craps on her dreams.
What are you doing?
Yeah. So that's why, like, with Martinez, like, I want to root for him, but he shoots himself in both of his feet very often. He's really interesting, but the social graces are not.
No, definitely not.
They're not there. And then why am I forgetting who's the other person on their tribe? They clearly didn't get any attention.
Shanae?
Nope.
No,
A starts with an A. Annalise.
Yeah, well, we haven't heard much from her. So.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with her.
Whatever.
But she, like, I guess technically should be in trouble because she is from the original Luzon tribe, right?
Yes.
Sure. Yep.
But there's also a lot of, and actually, no, there's a lot of other drama going on in that tribe. So
there's plenty of crap going. So, and that, like, and so that kind of goes back to PK and Tevin are threatening Martinez. There's Katinka, who, for what it's worth, was just insulted by Martinez. So maybe she won't want to go with him. And then Annalise, who was like down to vote wherever. So it's really just whoever gets them first and says, like, this guy's trying to throw a challenge.
Yeah. Or that, or like if everyone's just like, oh yeah, we don't like Martinez. And then like they vote out Martinez.
Yeah.
That seems pretty easy.
Exactly. So that tribe is a total hot mess. I think Tevin likes it this way. Like, he has really enjoyed like kind of stirring the pot. And I think he's able to do that because he has this automatic vote in PK.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Tevin, we've seen, he's kind of like Henry from Australian Survivor, where he makes moves and some of them are really good, but some of them don't work out. And it's interesting because I feel like in American Survivor, we don't see that dichotomy. We either see someone as like a good game player or a bad game player, not like they're trying stuff out. Some works, some doesn't, but I like it.
I like it too, because Henry, like I remember liking Henry and then thinking he got kind of overconfident. And Tevin, I'm seeing that too. Like I'm enjoying watching him. I'm not necessarily rooting for him.
Right.
Yeah. And he's,
it's really fun. It is like, it's good to see, like, have one guy be like, this is the strategist, right? And like see how they work.
Yeah, definitely. Again, very excited to see his inevitable downfall, but he's been a good like evil leader for
you need the evil leader. You need someone to root against.
And he's good because he's not like, he doesn't seem like a bad person, or he's not like a jerk to anybody. He's just like overconfident. And
he's just a guy who's playing Survivor. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's go to, I just grabbed my pencil. Okay, let's go to this reward and immunity challenge. I like the challenge is what it is. I will say this is probably the quote unquote best reward that you can get. I think, like, obviously you want to go to the Great Wall of China, or obviously you want like burgers or an ice cream parlor, but getting like immunity superfood support is like legitimately the best thing that your body can have.
I remember that the last episode there was like, here are all the previous rewards, which is like, it was like comfort and fishing gear and stuff. And like, that does seem pretty good. But if it's like, hey, here's like all of the vitamins your body needs in like this little thing because we got sponsored, like, I don't know, I kind of would take that. It's kind of like why Tyson got the peanut butter on Winners at War, because peanut butter is all fat and protein, and like that's what you need. So
yeah,
it's, it seems pretty good. Also immunity, like very just insane challenge to win.
And we had a sponsored challenge, but it was nice, and it wasn't like, we've got Outback Steakhouse and everyone's like jumping over each other, like punching each other in the face to try to get a Bloomin' Onion.
It's just kind of like, oh yeah, here's the thing, it'll help you out, and I'm like, thanks.
Where do you stand on Outback versus Applebee's?
I cannot remember the last time I've been to either one of those restaurants.
I've never been to an Applebee's, and I remember when that happened, like I was like, I don't think I could ever be that passionate about anything. I mean, I have been to
Applebee's before, but it was like at least 10 years ago. Like I do not consciously remember eating at Applebee's. I just know I've been there. That
being said, if either of us on Survivor and there's an Outback Steakhouse or an Applebee's reward,
we're hamming it up.
Each other.
I will do the Karishma thing and be like, this is my favorite restaurant ever.
My favorite sit-down restaurant.
No shame, favorite sit-down restaurant. I've gone to Applebee's for 15 years. Oh my, what did you just say? Oh my God.
Bloomin' Onion.
I was born in a blooming onion.
And so this one, at least, like, the good thing about like this immunity support is it's not like, oh my God, I chug this every morning and my body is a temple. Like, it was just a quick, like, you also get this like multivitamin supplement, like this or whatever. And they take their sips at the end. But this was a really good reward to receive. And it's like when Colby bids on a power bar in Australian Outback. And it's like, what a loser. But like, actually, that was the right thing to do.
That's probably a good idea.
What did you think about the challenge? I am consistently unimpressed by the challenges.
I don't know. I thought it was fun. I thought it was like I mean, I guess it doesn't matter, but like I liked that the puzzle pieces were part of like the physical part of the challenge, as opposed to like, hey, you got to collect them. I thought it was weird that they didn't like. I feel like on many Survivor challenges they like test things out for like the contestants' height and stuff, and it was weird that Jean like wasn't able to, because I feel like they would like she wasn't able to reach the top of the monkey bars. And I feel like they would have tested that and been like, hey guys, Jean's not going to be able to reach the top of the monkey bars. What do we do? Let's lower it. So that was just very strange for me. And then they had that weird cut that made her kind of look like an idiot for like, I don't know. That
they kind of made her look bad, which I agree with you. Like, I don't like if it was like straight monkey bars without the the little rope on the bottom and you just had to monkey bar, like that would have been a lot harder because I feel like some people aren't able to do that. But she was literally too short to do it. And like, good on Werner for like going back and like literally dragging her through it, which was super impressive. But I think you're right. I feel like that was a big mistake in the challenge because I've really never seen that happen before, where someone's like, I can't fit or I can't get there.
Right. It's like if you were doing like the have your arm in the air challenge and then like your arm was too short and then you just started off and it was like, oh, you're out because your arm doesn't reach like the threshold or whatever. Like that would have just been so weird.
Yeah. But I think you're right. I feel like we're getting the like, oh, Jean is like so bad at everything kind of edit, when in reality, like, this wasn't her fault. And it clearly ended up working because they get second place.
Yeah. I mean, it was cool at the end how they had like a Jean was like, yeah, I understand my body. Like, I'm comfortable with it. It's not who I am. And I thought that was a cool moment for her, even though they kind of made her look like an idiot before.
I thought that was a good moment too. And they got a singular watermelon. So good for them.
Honestly, I kind of was craving watermelon when I watched that episode. So
that was a good looking watermelon.
It was a good looking watermelon.
It's just so funny when the second place tribe gets their reward. It's like, here's like a cookie buffet, and then you guys split one cookie if you get second place.
Yeah, here's like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Yeah, here's one.
It's like in Heroes vs. Villains where like Jeff was like, you guys want an M&M each? And Colby was like, no, we don't want any M&Ms.
That is so one of my favorite scenes in Survivor because it's Colby's so like, like I'm ready to do the challenge. And Jeff's like, all right, loser, like, who's sitting now? Colby's like, I'm sitting now. like, come on, dude.
I gotta rewatch that. What a good moment.
It's so good. You and all the new Netflix kids. But so I actually candidly kind of missed this. Did Mariska like allegedly really kind of messed up this challenge? Where did she? Because we then go back to camp and Tom is like trashing her for being dead weight. What was like that bad that she did?
I don't know. I just think it was two conflicting personalities. It was probably Mariska not wanting any help or getting like annoyed at Tom helping her out and Tom trying to help her out. And then they were just like, hey, the other person messed me up. And that's probably what it was. I don't actually think Mariska did anything wrong. Actually, I do think that if you don't, like, I think completing the puzzle before you put it in the thing is actually just better because you can like move stuff around without like having to like physically put it in the puzzle. Which is what I don't remember the blue team Mindanao. That's what Mindanao did. Yep. And like that clearly is faster. So I guess she could have done that, but like, Luzon also put it in the thing and won. So
yeah, exactly. Because I remember I was watching that and I was like, she's getting a lot of heat for something that I don't really think that like she in particular did. But I mean, let's talk about her and Tom because Tom is like a pretty prominent part of this episode. What do you think about how Tom is playing? What's his deal? His overall arc since the start of the season?
Yeah, I mean, Tom is so interesting because like whenever we get a cut away to like the meta talk about Survivor of like, man, I love being here. He's like, yeah, I would give up food and my family to be here. And then Palesa gets the idol and he's like, wow, that was a good move. And like when he's talking about it, he seems very aware of like, hey, this is all just a game. But when he's in the game, he seems very brash and inconsiderate of other people and is just like, hey, this person's annoying me and I'm right. And so it's very, very interesting to watch him play.
Yeah, I'm curious. Like, I would like to see some like exit press of just like people who've played with him and how he does too, because I think he is like he's a good example of a complex player because he's kind of an ass to. He's an ass to Mariska. He and Palesa really get into it. But to your point, he's like, I'm so happy that I'm here. And when she gets her idol, he like commends her. They give each other a little fist bump and they do end up voting together questionably.
That was like, I did not see that coming at all. And then they're voted together and they did the little like fist bump. And I'm like, you guys are on the same side? Like, when did this happen? I did not follow this.
And I don't like quite know how they got there. So we're going to have to break that down. But I think he's a really good balance of like, a human where, when things don't go his way, he's going to be a total jerk about it. But once you take him out of the situation, he's actually a pretty good, he seems like a good guy. And he even said at the beginning, he was like, I will play my idol for Shanae. He said that he would play his idol for Mariska, and then 20 minutes later, they end up voting her out.
Yeah. I mean, I think it is like, talking earlier about how we see a lot of people, they're showing a lot more people mess up. Like, I do think it's really interesting seeing like both sides of Tom, that like, yeah, he appreciates Survivor for what it is, but is also emotional and, makes bad decisions sometimes. So I like him, even though he's kind of an ass.
Yeah, he's good. I'm curious to see like how he develops, and especially how everyone else develops around him, because Mariska is like very clearly in the middle, and like she enters this episode with a pretty much 0% chance of going home, and like by fault of her own. Like I don't think she's like overconfident or anything. We're not getting like a Sarah Lucina in Cagayan experience, but she's obviously playing double agent, and Shanae, she kind of catches on to that, and Shanae and Tom then think to go to her, but they're not working with Vusi and Belisa at all. In fact, Tom and Belisa like get into this massive fight about who ate fish, or
a fish. Yeah.
A fish.
Right.
When in actuality, I don't think we actually know who ends up doing it. But it's kind of Shanae who sniffs it out. Right. And I'm a little confused because I feel like they don't figure this out until Tribal Council. I don't think they figure out that she's going home until Tribal Council, because Tom talks about his idol. Belisa talks about the concept of an idol, but they're not quite buying it yet. I don't really know who is the target walking into Tribal.
Right. I mean, I think in my mind, it was going to be it was going to be a Mariska swing vote, and that it was going to be either someone from the Belisa Vusi side going home or from the Tom Shanae side. And so like the fact that like no one from Belisa Vusi got a vote, like that was so surprising to me.
Totally. And again, like we're talking, there's 5 people on this tribe. 2 of them are immune. So there's only 3 people available. So this is already just like really tight quarters. So we get to Tribal Council and we're pretty unsure of what's going on. And Belisa, Mariska's talking a bit about like whether or not she's playing the game, which is probably not a great start to Tribal Council. Right. They talk about like people carrying their weight. And then Belisa like stops the conversation, or like Nico asks her a question and then she just goes up and takes this idol. And I thought it was cool because it didn't look like it was able to be like picked off really easily. Right. But she got it and sat back down and everyone was just like, well, okay, let's keep talking.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was interesting for 2 reasons. One was that I wish Belisa had like showboated more and done it after the votes had been cast, and then like is like, but I'm safe now.
Yeah, that would have been awesome.
But also it was weird that Nico was like, hey, yeah, that is an idol, because usually Jeff doesn't let you verify until after like the votes have been cast. Right.
That's right. John Millsap just commented right here. He said, what was your opinion on Nico? Spelled with a Y. Didn't realize that was the case. Confirming the idol was an idol. Because you're right. Tony uses that to his advantage. Like plenty of people ask Jeff to confirm it and he can't. And Nico, I think he was asked, but pretty much immediately he was like, that is an idol.
Yeah, like Belisa wasn't even like, is this an idol? Nico was just like, you got it. And I was like, what?
Like, great job.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it worked out to Belisa's advantage, because then, if people know that that's an idol now, like I was surprised that she didn't play it, but you don't have to, because people are like, oh, she has the idol now. Like you having the idol and having it confirmed by Nico that it is an idol, it kind of just does the same thing. People are like, oh, she has an idol. She's going to play it tonight. They won't vote for her. So you can just not play it, which is what Belisa did. And now you're safe whenever you need to play it.
Yeah. So, and as cool as like awesome and badass it would have been if she waited until the votes were read, or like waited until the votes were cast and then dropped it, it would have been it may not have been wasted, but now she kind of has this new alliance and has an idol. And I think it actually benefits her to have like a public facing idol, kind of like how Werner has a public facing idol, where it's out there. It's not really a conversation topic. And so it it kind of becomes not a big deal.
Yeah, like it's like if someone's like, oh, Jay has an idol, then it like that's
Jay
like the
does have an
drama
idol.
that's like spreading around. But if everyone just knows already that Palisa has an idol, it's not like, ooh, what's the hot goss or whatever. It's just like that's a fact. So
Which is really interesting because this has not been a conversation topic with Werner, and I don't know if this will necessarily be one for Palisa. So it is funny how like once you have a public idol, it's like not that huge of a deal. And secondarily, Nico does two things in this episode that American Survivor fans would hate. He confirms an idol and then actively tells them to strategize at tribal council.
Yeah, that was so strange. He's like, well, if you guys want to strategize, you can. And I'm like, what was the rest of the day for? Like why are they tribal council?
I thought we escaped this.
Yeah, that's why I'm not watching American Survivor, so I can watch something different.
Yeah, and it's so funny because like you get hints of him like trying to be like Jeff. They're talking, and for what it's worth, it's not like crazy because again there are 5 of them. They cut to Nico and he's like, "Wow," and then they go back and like, this is not a wow. There's nothing wow
it's
about
like you started this. It wasn't
you did this.
It wasn't like JT standing up in Game Changers, incredible, but like whatever, man. Like
you told them to do this. This isn't a wow.
Guys, they're doing what I asked them to. This is so cool. Like,
but what they did that I will commend them for, and for what it's worth, it confused me further. They subtitled as much as they could, if not the entire back.
That was very helpful.
Very great. What were you about to say?
Could actually, I was just agreeing. Like I can actually see what's going on as opposed to like no one knows what's going on. So that was nice. Thank you, editors or subtitlers.
Thank you, South African editors.
Yes, thank you, production team.
But this is where I start to get a little lost because Mariska immediately leans over to Palisa and they start talking. Tom and Shanae talk to each other and confirm that they want to go for Mariska. Where I'm confused is how that is then communicated to the other side, Palisa and Vusi, because the way that these votes net out are Mariska is the only person to vote for Tom. Shanae ends up voting for Vusi, and then Tom, Shanae, and Palisa vote for
Was
Mariska.
it Shanae vote? I thought it was Vusi voting for Shanae. Did I mess that up?
Yes, you're right. I went the other way around. Yes.
Yeah.
Vusi voted for Shanae.
So I'm just surprised at how there was such a big feud between Tom and Palisa, and then Palisa and Vusi are close. And then Palisa doesn't vote with Vusi and instead votes with Tom to get out Mariska. Like that doesn't make any sense.
Right. I feel like Palisa and Vusi didn't really communicate with each other because I thought they said that they were going to split the vote, which like Vusi, Palisa, and Mariska were going to split to a 2-1. To maybe because of Tom's idol, but you can't do a 2-1.
I don't know how that.
When there's 5 people.
No, because then if Tom plays the idol, then whoever on your side is getting 2 votes is going home. So like you don't want to be the sacrificial lamb there. So like I don't know why they agreed to do that.
So maybe like Palisa saw that because Vusi votes for Shanae and Mariska votes for Tom, and I think Palisa maybe just ditches out because she knows. And she probably knows that Tom's going to play his idol because he was threatening to play it a lot earlier.
I mean, we did have a clue earlier of when Tom was asking for some help moving that big log over, and then Palisa was the one to go over instead of Mariska, and Mariska was like making it a whole thing about like why she wanted to be independent. And so like maybe that shows that like Palisa and Tom don't see eye to eye in the game, but like they will help each other out, right? Like I feel like there's something there of like they at some point we'll be able to get past it, but Mariska is making too much of a stance, and so that kind of forces Palisa and Tom to work together instead of working with Mariska.
I definitely think so, and for what it's worth, I think the right thing is for this group of 4 to continue to work together because everywhere else, the original Luzons are very broken up. Like Annalise is all by herself, dealing with plenty of problems over there. Josie is like somewhat in trouble, and I feel like nobody is quite connected to each other from the Luzon group. And I feel like if that core 4 can stay together and not lose another immunity challenge, then they could make something work. They can put their differences aside.
Yeah, if they can figure it out.
Yeah.
But that's a big if.
Big if. So Mariska goes home. She was someone who I kind of had high hopes for, and I feel like she was just not really a major part.
Unfortunate. I wish wish you could have been better, but that's Survivor, baby. You got to get voted out. So
yeah, you're gonna get voted out, and sometimes you're gonna get under edited, and sometimes you're gonna be Katinka, and finally something good happen to you, and then you get pooped on.
Yeah, something bad happens.
Anything else you have on this episode?
Not that I could think of. What was the preview for next episode? I just watched this episode, but I don't remember it.
I did not watch the preview. I was really banking on you for that. I was like, I should have watched this because I know we're gonna get some shit. I stayed because I was trying to figure out I rewatched the vote part because
the vote part was confusing.
Who voted for who and why. I don't know, but I remember seeing like 2 clips and they both involve drama around Martinez. And it sounds like the sun rises.
Oh yeah, it was just like Martinez stuff. He found Martinez finds the clue to the idol in the sand.
Okay. I am curious because before I was watching this season, I have seen the clip of Palisa go to get the idol, but it never meant anything to me because I didn't know who she was.
Right.
I don't think I've seen any other clips of other people doing it. So I am curious if it was a one and done idol.
Yeah, what if how they you play an idol at Tribal Council and then it gets re-hidden? What if you play the Tribal Council idol and then it gets re-hidden at Tribal Council and you can just keep on taking a new one?
Yeah, like maybe if Luz, what are they, Visayas? If they go back to Tribal Council, maybe there won't be one.
Yeah, is there one per tribe or something? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder.
We'll have to look next time.
Yeah, I'm just excited for season 41, who's about to start playing right now, of American Survivor. I'm excited for them to tackle each other to try to tear down that podium.
They better.
They're going to be really. They'll know what
Tribal Council. Yeah,
they've had a year. And I saw something on Survivor Reddit too, and this isn't a spoiler for this season, but it sounds like in other international seasons there's been a idol in the urn, there's been an idol in the trees at Tribal Council, and I feel like American Survivor has hinted at this a lot, but never quite capitalized on it. I mean,
maybe it's been there, it's just no one's found it.
That would be cool.
I mean, Jeff hinted at it in Game Changers or something, right?
I think it was Game Changers. Yeah, I think you're right. He was like, we've never had one at Tribal Council. And that's actually something that I think would be very cool.
I think it would be so cool.
Give everyone the chance, tell everyone it's somewhere at Tribal Council and then let them figure it out.
It's like an Easter egg hunt.
Such a whisper situation that we're really asking for trouble.
Imagine an idol hunt at Tribal Council and everyone's getting up and looking through everything.
Shoving the cameras aside, going through the trees.
Get away! This is my idol.
We might be careful what we wish for on that one.
yeah. It's like Jeff's necklace or something is the idol.
Oh my god. Yeah, Jeff's hat.
Oh my god, yeah.
Speaking of Jeff's hat, this is a wild transition that I'm gonna make. It is near the end of March, and as you guys know, Phil and I have not yet done our $5 Q&A podcast. We've just come up with the idea for our March retrospective, and in honor of March Madness, last time we did a showman's bracket for March Madness. This year we are doing a Jeff outfit bracket, so it's going to be a Sweet 16, 8 of Jeff's hats versus 8 of Jeff's shirts.
What about there's no sunglasses, Jeff?
Yeah, his glasses.
Yeah, sunglasses, Jeff.
That's so if you are not yet a $10 patron and want to listen to us talk about something that's very, very important, you should become a $10 patron right now. Phil is still doing a lot of daily content for your $20 patrons. And if you want to become a $1 patron, you can be in our Facebook group.
Any amount helps,
Any amount
helps us make this stuff.
Make this thing happen. So. John Millsap says blue shirt versus blue shirt is going to be a tough matchup.
Very true.
Jeff's hairstyles. I mean, after today, I think that's something we have to deeply
long
consider.
hair, Jeff. Yeah.
So become a patron. You guys know where to find us on all forms of social media. We're gonna keep this same time. There's no more breaks. I'm not going on any more vacations.
No more bye weeks.
No more bye weeks. We'll be back next Monday at the same time, 6 p.m. Eastern, recapping the 6th episode of South African Survivor Season 6. That's going to be about the halfway point of the season. I think there's only 12 episodes or something like that.
If there's more, whatever. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. It's not Australian Survivor, which is good. Robert, as always, thank you so much for coming on. Hair looks great.
Here I am.
And we will see you all next week.